name's Paul Grogan and welcome to another Gaming Rules video log. In this video I'm going to be talking about all of the games that I played in the month of May 2019 and various other things that I got up to. Now the first thing that I need to do is apologise again for the delay in recording this video log. I'm actually recording this on the 20th of June, so it's actually going to be quite difficult for me to get my mindset into what I was doing in May, but I'm trying to cover everything that I did in May. Various reasons for the delay, some good, some bad, which I won't go into here, but I just wanted to apologise for this. It does mean that the next video log, if I manage to do it at the start of July, it'll only be a couple of weeks since this one. But anyway, first thing is, thank you very much to all of my Patreon supporters for making this kind of video possible. I do enjoy making these videos and I like talking to you about all the games that I've been playing a month, because a lot of these games that I've been playing I won't do reviews of, because a review takes me a long time to create. So thanks to my Patreon campaign, I'm able to basically do these videos. Now, I have a cat that has just joined me. Are you here again? You did this last month, didn't you? I think Loki knows that I'm doing recording of videos. Yes, anyway, there we go. Loki might be appearing here and there in the video. Anyway, let's get on with all of the games that I've been playing in the month. Now, I've not got these in any particular order, so I'm going to go through them. What we got first? Lord of the Rings, Journeys in Middle-earth. This is the new game from Fantasy Flight Games. I have done a review of this game. I think I played it about 4 times in May. I played it through solo, 2 players. I've also played it 5 players once. Was it 5 or 4? 4. 5? Can't remember now. But anyway, I've played it a bunch of times, enough that I felt I was able to do a review of it. So if you are interested in learning more about the Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth game from Fantasy Flight, then yeah, pop on over. I'll put a link to all of these videos in the show notes if I get a chance. If not, just go to my YouTube channel. It's all there. So that's that one. Next, Unlock Timeless Adventures. This isn't out yet. This is box 6. So for those of people in the UK and Europe, the Unlock series of games are released in box sets with 3 in a box. In America, they're all released in single boxes. You get one, basically a scenario or adventure, whatever, in a box. So this is box 6. So it will be adventures number, what's that, 16, 17 and 18. And I've been helping test them. I've been helping test them and edit the text on them. So I can't really say much more about it. But if you like the Unlock series of games, then you're going to like these as well. Next, Concordia. I've been playing Concordia quite a bit recently because I've done a review of it recently. I did a review of it in May. So again, go and check out that. But Concordia is a fantastic game. It's a masterpiece of a game. Top 10 game for me, really enjoy it. And yeah, if you want to hear me saying that for 10 minutes, then head on over to my Concordia review. But I played that. I played a couple of different maps and I've played with the Salsa expansion and I think the Egypt map. I haven't played Venus yet. That's next on the list to do. I was going to pick up a copy from Rio Grande at Origins and unfortunately they didn't have any, apart from the copies that the demo team had provided themselves. So yeah, Concordia Venus I'm hoping to get soon. Next, I've played Gentis, however you want to pronounce it, the deluxe version from Tasty Minstrel Games. And this is one of the games which I was professionally involved in. I did the official how to play video for the game, and I broke my own rules of don't give your personal opinion on games that you were professionally involved in. I mean, it had nothing to do with the design of the game. I made a couple of suggestions, graphical design suggestions, that they could change from the original version of the game to the new version, which they accepted. But other than doing the how to play video, I wasn't involved in the game at all, but I think the game is great and I really enjoy it. I'm terrible at it. I've played it, I don't know what, 3-4 times now, and I'm just awful at it. I just can't seem to get going and lose by, a country mile. What's next on the list? On the Underground, London/Berlin. So, I've been playing this a bit and I wasn't able to talk about it before because Ludi Creations that are going to be publishing, this is a new version of a game which originally came out 10 years ago, I think. It was sort of secret that they were going to be doing a new version of it. So I've been playing it and not able to really tell anybody about it. Now I am able to tell people about it and the Kickstarter is going live soon. It might even be going live later this month. If not this month, next month, I think. So On the Underground is an older game from Sebastian Bleasdale, UK games designer. It's been updated with a few tweaks and new graphics, and they've fixed a couple of the issues that the original game had, only minor ones, and they're going to re-release it for a whole new audience. Now, again, I'm involved in this game because I've helped with the rulebook and I'm doing some media coverage of it. So it would be wrong of me for me to tell you that this game's great. But if I say that this game has been played a lot at Gaming Rules HQ in the last month, because the people I'm playing it with are really enjoying it. And even though it is a light, family-style game, it's got a little bit of something to it that we're really enjoying playing the game. So anyway, on the Underground, it'll be a double-sided board with London on one side and Berlin on the other side. Keep an eye out for that later on. I've also played a few games of Tiny Towns, which for those people in the UK, you'll know that I've been demoing Tiny Towns for AEG at various conventions. But it's such a nice game. It plays in about half an hour. It teaches in about 5 minutes. It's just really nice. And it does hit that sweet spot. Again, it's another family style game, but gamers seem to be playing it and enjoying it. And out of all the people I've demoed it with, I think I've found about one person who wasn't too keen on it. They're of course wrong, but yeah, everybody else seems to really like it. So Tiny Towns is a game which will get played quite a lot because it's half hour. Most people I know already know how to play now, so that's good. Architects of the West Kingdom. Mark invited me around to his house once. I've not played any of this series of games at all. I know there's Architects of the West Kingdom, Raiders of the North Sea, something else of the North Sea. Anyway, there's 3 of them in the original series, and this is one of them in the new series. And I'd heard good things about it. But I know Tom Heath was very concerned because you have an ability in this game. It's worker placement, but you have the ability to capture each other's workers and basically imprison them, and that kind of put Tom off. Anyway, so I've played the game. I think we played it 4-player. I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good game. I liked the mechanisms within the game. I felt that the capturing other players' workers went very well and seemed to work quite nicely. So yeah, I enjoyed my one play of it. I have since spoken to a number of other people about the game, and they've kind of said it's not broken, but there is a definite route to victory that if you can get that right, you should do that and ignore the cathedral. Just don't bother with building that because it's not as good. And in a way, it's a shame. I mean, it happens these days a lot, but it's a shame that a game comes out and people are enjoying it, and then a while later people go, oh yeah, the best thing to do is this, and if you don't do this, you won't win. And that is a problem with a lot of games, and it's just one of those things. Anyway, Architects of the West Kingdom, really enjoyed my first play, would definitely play it again. One Friday night, we played Cerebria, The Inside World. Now, again, I was professionally involved in this. I helped with the rulebook. I did the video on how to play. And yeah, now Cerebria is a brain-melting game. It is super heavy, super complex, and it's just an absolute nightmare to learn how to play, but worth it. Now, what's interesting is 4 of us sat down to play it. We had all played it once before. So one player needed a quick refresher on things, and then we played it, and at the end of it we were like, well, that didn't feel that complicated. Now, we didn't use the full rules. We used the basic rules, but we used personalised decks, and we used a special ability, but we didn't use the full empower rules. But afterwards we were like, oh, this game doesn't feel as complex as it initially was. And it is one of those games that initially, your first impression when you're learning it is like, wow, this is totally overwhelming and there's so much going on. But actually, once you get to play it, there is still a lot going on, but it was good and we enjoyed it, and it was like 2 hours. It isn't one of these stupidly long games. You can play a game of it in 2 hours. So definitely want to play that again. Also played Flamme Rouge. Now, Tom Pike wanted to know what I thought about Flamme Rouge. Tom's obviously not been aware of what I think about Flamme Rouge because I've given my opinions on it a number of times. It's my number 1 racing game. It's also very, very high on my list of games which are Euros that are thematic. Because you know the stigma that Euros get of being dry, boring and mechanical and don't have any theme to them. Well, Flamme Rouge is a very thematic game. The mechanisms work very well. And yeah, the game's great. And I've been painting my miniatures. So I've been painting the riders. Flamme Rouge, great game. I didn't win at all. I came last, I think. Also played Forum Trajanum, which I've done a review of Forum Trajanum last year. One of my favourite Stefan Feld games. Really like it. Just don't start playing it at 11 o'clock at night, the night before UK Games Expo, when you think it's only going to take an hour and a half with new players. Because it didn't. It took 3 hours. I was exhausted afterwards, and that wasn't a good thing to do right before UK Games Expo. More on that later on. Also played North American Railways. Now, I really like North American Railways. Doesn't seem like it's a very popular game in that it's not that it isn't very good. I think it is very good. It's just not that well known about. So this is a very, very stripped down If I say it's an 18xx style game, the 18xx fans are going to hate me, but you have stocks in companies and you are expanding those companies, and it's just really nice. It's a card game. It doesn't take that long to play. The rules are clever. Surprise Stare Games published it in the UK, and what's the name of the company? Flying Lemur Games published it in America. Really good. Definitely play that again. I also played Orleans. In fact, I've played Orleans a number of times and I've forgotten to record all of my plays. I've played it solo, I've played it cooperatively, I've played it competitively, I've played with different scenarios. I think I've played it like 5 or 6 times recently because my Patreon supporters voted on it as one of the games that you wanted me to review. So I played it a whole bunch before I did a review of it, and that review is also live on my channel. So if you want to hear what I think about Orleans, you can go check that out. What else have I played? Wow, Red Alert Space Warfare. I was going to say, that feels like I played that a very long time ago. But as I say, I'm recording this on the 3rd week in June. And I did. In fact, I played that the day before my Charity Games Day that was on May the 4th. So yeah, it's actually been 7 weeks since I played it. We just played the introductory game. I am definitely going to be wanting to play this again. I have set myself a personal challenge of painting enough of the miniatures to run the base introductory scenario before my convention in 2 weeks' time. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all because this week's gone completely. I won't say what it's gone completely, but it's gone a bit wrong this week, so I've not even made a start on it. So that's not going to happen. But anyway, Red Alert Space Warfare is the latest in the series of Command and Colour style games from Richard Borg. This one's set in space. It's published by PSC Games. It's a game which everybody who knows the kind of games I like is going to go, why are you playing this game? It is very much the Ameritrash style game. It has random cards which tell you which units you can order. It has random dice rolling for combat, and it's a whole lot of randomness. But I like the spaceships, and that's enough. No, to be fair, my first play of it was actually quite a lot more tactical than I thought. And it was more tactical for a reason which I think is a little bit of a silly rule, in that you have line of sight rules in space. So you have these big hexes. And when you're trying to fire at another unit, you've got to draw a line from your hex to their hex. And if it crosses through any hex with any other spaceships, you can't fire. And I'm like, but it's space. It should be massive. It shouldn't be affected by line of sight rules. But it is. And so is movement. But what that does is it makes the game extremely tactical. So I had my flagship. My flagship was very badly damaged. If the opponents had killed my flagship, then they would have won the game. So I moved it away and I protected it with some of my other ships. So it was a bit tactical. Now I've also played Battle Law, 2nd edition, and my initial impression is that I currently prefer Battle Law because in Battle Law, you win a scenario by gaining points, which is controlling objectives on the board. In Red Alert Space Warfare, it's about destroying your opponent. So it is just kill a certain number of pieces of your opponent and you win the game. Now there's lots of different scenarios. I haven't looked at them all, but I think a lot of them are just, destroy your opponent. And I like games that include combat, but where the objective isn't just destroying your opponent. So anyway, I want to play more of it. That's my initial impressions, but it does look good, and it'll look better once the minis are painted. Roman Roll is a game that I am involved in. I am helping write the rulebook for it, and I've done a little bit of game development, so I can't really give you my opinion on it, but I can tell you some information about it. This is a medium to heavy Euro game by David Turtsey and Nick Shaw, using roll and write as the core mechanisms of the game. So it's a roll and write game, but with a completely different audience. This is not your little family 30-minute roll and write game. This is a fairly meaty Euro game where you are basically rolling the dice, drafting the dice, but then using the dice to gain things on your player board, which you'll be drawing on your player board, and you're actually building up the city of Rome. So you will be drawing buildings onto a central map, building there. So yeah, there's lots of other things in the game, but you are drawing on some of the parts of the game. You've also got cards, you've got some other bits as well. That's Roman Roll. That's coming from... That's PSC Games as well. Yeah, so that's PSC Games. I'm not sure when that's coming out. Right, Star Wars Outer Rim. I am doing a review of that this month. So I've actually been playing it. I've played it 3 times already. I'll be playing it a bit more this month, and I'm going to be doing a review of it in June. Initial impressions, very good, and I liked this a lot more than I was expecting. But as I say, full review coming later on in the month. Next on my list is Time Stories Brotherhood of the Coast. So I'm behind on my time stories. I'm the person that's supposed to be maintaining the official FAQ for the game, but of course I've got to play the scenario first before I can update the FAQ. And finally, I got around to playing Brotherhood of the Coast, which we really enjoyed. As a group, our group really enjoyed this one, and I don't think there was that many errors with it like there have been with some of the other ones. So very much enjoyed the experience of that. We've got one more to do in the series, which is Madame, that I've heard mixed things about, but we need to get that played. Hopefully that'll be next weekend or weekend after next. But yeah, Brotherhood of the Coast, a pirate-themed game, very good. In fact, we got a little mini scenario, which is Space Cowboys are using it to basically demo the game and demo the system. And we played the demo scenario, which is an introductory one to Brotherhood of the Coast. So we did that first, then we did Brotherhood of the Coast, and yeah, it's a good one. I enjoyed that. So if you've given up playing Time Stories because of errors and whatever in some of the early ones, then I would recommend this one. Valley of the King's Afterlife, a little deck building type game that we had 45 minutes left at the end of the night. I went upstairs and I went, should we play this one? I've not played this in ages. I quite like it. There's 3 in the box set and you can combine them all together. And AEG have done a Kickstarter recently for a new big deluxe version with everything in, which I'm hoping to get a copy of because I do like Valley of the Kings. It fixes the deck building problem of Dominion for me. And the main twist, for those who don't know, is in Valley of the Kings, your cards are only worth something if you entomb them. And you can only entomb 1 card a turn from your hand. And when you entomb it, it's gone. So you've got this amazing card that does really good stuff that's worth 4 points. It's not worth any point unless you entomb it. But when you entomb it, it's gone from your hand. So you need to make a difficult decision of, do you want to keep the card and get its special ability, or do you want to entomb it to actually get it worth points? And I always leave it way too late before entombing and then lose by a massive amount. So yeah, I'm not very good at the game. Final game that I played, according to my list, which isn't always completely accurate, is Zhangguo. And the reason I played it is that I did a tutorial and playthrough video, which will be coming on the channel at some point soon. Watch Your Game have asked me to do this video in preparation for the Kickstarter campaign for the deluxe version, which will be sometime later on this year. I don't know exactly when, but I had a slot in my schedule and I was able to fit it in then. Unfortunately, we had to film it in an afternoon and I wasn't able to get some additional players. So it's me and 2 other people. I taught the game and then we all played the game and I won, which it always makes me feel a little uncomfortable, but I was more experienced at the game. And I did get a great combo of cards and I abused the heck out of them. And yeah, and I did that. So anyway, that video isn't live on my channel yet. Watch Your Game will allow me to release it once the Kickstarter is ready. But that's all of the games I think that I played in May 2019. Other things that happened. I did a charity games day. Now this took place on May the 4th in my town of Columpton where I live. We had about 130 people turn up. All of the profits went to charity. So we raised, I think it was £440 for charity. The day went really well as far as I was concerned. I had almost no negative feedback about the day. One regarding the venue, but that was only minor and that's being fixed next time. It was just a really nice day. And it was really nice that about an hour and a half after everybody had arrived, I just walked into the main room and there was everybody playing games. And I was like, oh, so I'm done. You know, it's been months of preparation and there was lots of hard work gone into it. But to see all of those people playing games in a venue that I'd organised was really good. I got to teach Gloomhaven during the day. I did a few Letter Jam demos. I did a live link-up with Ben Parkinson from the Chrysalid Youth Empowerment Network and Joseph, one of the kids over in Africa, whose money we're directly helping. So that was all really cool. And yeah, had a great day with that. I'll be doing the same again next year, but I'm probably going to move the date to the end of April so that it doesn't clash with... There was a couple of other events happening at the same time. Right, what else happened in May? I went to the UK Games Expo. So the UK Games Expo was the very end of May, and I've left it too long before recording this video log, so I'm bound to forget some things. On the Wednesday, I went up to UK Games Expo. In fact, yeah, let's go back a day, Monday and Tuesday. Kevin Burkardsmeyer and Barry Doublet from the Berkey and Badger show, and Kevin brought his son Josiah with him. They landed in Heathrow on the Monday, and then they drove here, and we had the Monday evening with them, played some games. Then on Tuesday, they went into Exeter for the day while I did some work, and then Tuesday evening, we played games. It was great to have them here, great to see them. We played some games together, and as mentioned earlier in the video, I stayed up way too late on the Tuesday night playing Forum Trajanum. So Wednesday, I was a wreck. Joel picked me up and we drove up to UK Games Expo. And on the Wednesday night was the meal that I went to. I was invited by Asmodee UK to go out for a big meal thing with lots of other industry people. And I got sat opposite a couple of people who work for Chaosium. And it was really interesting because they were not board gamers. Obviously, they're in from the role-playing games background and everything else. So they were experts in that area, but they didn't know really anything about board games. And me and Joel are all about the board games. So we had a good chat with them about stuff. I also sat next to a lady who works for Blue Orange and a couple of people from another French company. We ended up having a good chat with them about gender neutrality and rule books, which is what I do when I'm in a social situation. So that was Wednesday night. I also met a couple of guys from Genius Games, got chatting with them, met the designer of Fog of Love. It was just a really good night, and the curry house was fantastic. Right, Thursday night. Thursday was the retailers event. So Thursday is the setup day of UK Games Expo. My team of demoers were helping set up the booth while I was at the retailers event, which is where lots of people with shops get to come round and see what we're doing. I've done this for the last 2 or 3 years. I'm not sure whether it's worth it or not because I really should be setting the booth up and training the demo team. It's quite easy. I'm sat at a table and I'm talking to a few people and that's it. It's not really hard work, but next year I need to decide whether I'm gonna do that or not. I might just do it in the morning. Friday, demoing all day at the CGE booth. We were really busy. We were one person down because they were unfortunately sick, and it was really busy. Letterjam was super popular. Sanctum was super popular. The other tables were all popular. Most of the time, every table was fully occupied, which is good. The demo team did a great job, and I was handling most of the press people and making sure I gave demos to them. So yeah, demoing all day on the Friday. It was really busy and yeah, it was exhausting, but it was really rewarding. It was really good. Friday night, I organised a gaming rules meetup at the Ibis Styles and it didn't go so well. So first of all, an apology to anybody watching this video who turned up to the meetup who was like, oh, well, that was a bit rubbish. I had all these ideas of what it might be and I told lots of people about it, but then I didn't really know who was coming. And what I'd done is, oh, Loki's come back. You coming up to say hello? You coming up? No, you're just going to rub against the microphone. Okay. You come in. No. You want to or not? You might get Loki joining us in a minute. This is every time I film. Yeah, you coming up? There you go. You there you go. Hello all. Say hello. Right, you're going to sit on my lap. Where was I? Yeah. So the other thing is, I also advertised this meetup on the Board Game Trading and Chat UK Facebook group. But then, when the meetup actually happened, the Ibis Styles bar area is quite big. And I didn't know who was there for the meetup and who wasn't there for the meetup. So I was really tired. I was exhausted. I was in the Ibis Styles bar area and I was like, oh, and then there was a problem with they weren't serving food because there were too many people there and there wasn't enough staff. It was just, I don't know. So there were some people that were there and I thought, you're there. And I know you're there to see me because I invited you earlier today and you came along and that was great. And I said hello to those people. But then I realised I was stretched a bit too thin. I wasn't able to spend as much time with all of the people that I wanted to spend time with. So I started feeling bad that people had turned up to maybe spend time with me and I didn't have time to talk to them. And then I also felt bad because there were other people in the bar area and I was like, I don't know if you're here for my meetup or not. And I didn't feel comfortable in sort of asking them. So what we ended up with various pockets of people dotted around, some of whom were there for the meetup and some of whom who weren't. And I just felt really bad about it. So I need to do something different next year. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. But yeah, didn't go as well as I'd hoped. So that meant that on Friday night, when I finally went to bed, all of my anxiety issues came to the surface. I was worrying about everything. I was overthinking things. Started worrying about things at the show and everything else. And on the Saturday, I was doing a seminar and a live podcast recording. They were causing me a lot of anxiety as well. And I finally got to sleep at 6:30 in the morning. So I had a 6-hour anxiety attack on the Friday night. Could not sleep. Had all sorts of stomach issues and various other issues for those people who suffer. I was a complete mess. Finally, it was about 6 o'clock in the morning is the last time I remember. So I finally managed to get to sleep around then. I got an hour's sleep. and then had to get up for the Saturday. So the Saturday, I was not looking forward to the Saturday whatsoever. I thought, oh dear, this isn't... Now, the day went okay. My seminar that I was demoing all day. I then did a seminar in the afternoon, and I said at the start of the seminar, look, I've had hardly any sleep. I'm a complete wreck. And people said, oh, the seminar went great and the talk was great. And there were lots of people there, really happy with that. It has been videoed. I haven't been sent the video yet, but hopefully I will be soon. I know it didn't go as well as it could have done. I know I stumbled a few times and I had the order in which that I was saying things wasn't as much as I'd like, but everybody seemed to enjoy it and said it went well. So that was the seminar that I did on demoing games in the afternoon. And then Saturday night, I did the live podcast recording. And by this point, I was totally and utterly exhausted, and I was seriously struggling to just, keep it together and stay awake. And again, the people who were there said it was a good show and enjoyed it. I didn't think it went particularly well myself, and I know you're always more critical of your own things. So it probably did go okay. I just didn't feel, I felt, having watched other people's live shows that they've done, that they were more prepared and they were more entertaining. And what I'd done is I'd invited lots and lots of people to come up on stage as special guests and basically to talk about their stuff. And I'm really happy with that because there's a number of people who came up. There's noises going on in the other room. I don't exactly know what Loki's doing, probably destroying things again. Lots of other people came up. I had Bez come up. I had Chris and Lindsay come up. I had Chris and Lindsay from Behind the Box. I had Mike come up from Ready Steady Play. I had Owen Duffy, author of the board game book. I had almost all of Team Trevor came up. So, yeah, and apologies if I've forgotten, but yeah, I'm a bit frazzled. And they came up and they chatted and they got to talk about who they are and what they're doing. And I'm happy that I gave some other people the chance to talk about their stuff for a bit. And we got some great feedback from the audience. So hopefully for the people who was there, they enjoyed it. But I'm not going to do another one. There was too much pressure on me, too much planning about it, too much trying to promote it, too much trying to convince people to come to it. And a combination of all of those things, I'm not going to do another one. I'm stretched way too thin at Expo. I need to be taking it easier. I need to be doing less things and focusing on other things instead. So anyway, that was that. Sunday, final day, absolutely exhausted. Joel drove me home. All went well on the Sunday and I got back okay, but I was a complete wreck. So thank you very much to Joel for driving me there and driving me back. Now, one thing that we did at the live show is I gave the copy of Mage Knight to the person who won that. We raised loads of money for a raffle. I did a charity raffle for my old copy of Mage Knight, and the winner of that picked up their copy at the live show. But also I did my Patreon giveaway. So every month I do a giveaway as part of my Patreon campaign, and Bez from Stuff by Bez gave 5 of her games that she'd done: Wibble Plus Plus, Wibble Deluxe, In a Bind Junior, and one other I can't remember. Kitty Cataclysm. And what I do is every month I take a spreadsheet of all of the people that have supported me at producer level and higher, punch that into a spreadsheet, order it up, and basically pick a random number. And we did that on the show. So I was able to phone home, get Vicky to log into Patreon, export the spreadsheet, do all of the stuff, send me the spreadsheet, and then on the show itself we did the number. And the winner was John Dunnett. Now, John wasn't at UK Games Expo to pick up his prize, but I will get that to you soon. Now, the competition for next month, for this month, is to win a copy of Gloomhaven Forgotten Circles. So, to enter the contest, it's very simple. You simply need to be a Patreon supporter of mine at producer level and higher. And at the end of this month, everybody who is supporting me on the 1st of July, so in other words, you've got until the end of this month to start supporting me, will be entered into a contest. I'll pick one lucky winner and you'll get that, basically. So thank you very much to all of my Patreon supporters for helping me make my channel possible. Without you, I wouldn't be able to do what I do, and I just like to try and give something back every month. So that's that. Right. Patreon changes. Let's talk about the Patreon changes for the month. I'd mentioned in my previous video log that my Patreon had taken a nosedive. Not quite sure why, but after the first... It's been running, 15 months now? 15, 16 months, and it was a nice steady climb, let's do it that way. A nice steady climb in the growth, and I was really happy with it. It still wasn't providing me with the amount of money that I would have earned if I'd been working. So in other words, the amount of time that I spend producing Patreon related content, if I didn't produce any Patreon related content and instead I just worked, I would be financially better off. And it's because I like producing the Patreon content and I want to give more stuff back. So I am currently doing more than I should be for the amount of money that it's bringing in. Anybody who looks at the Patreon and goes, oh, he's making loads of money from it. Yeah, it's really good and I'm really happy with it. I want to do more. But I am producing a lot of content and that does take a lot of time to make. This isn't just a hobby for me. Thank you very much to my new executive producers. So this is Alessandro Luti, who I apologise in advance for pronouncing these names incorrectly, but thank you very much for coming on board as an executive producer. And also Brian Rowe, thank you to you for also supporting me at that level. Tom Eatwell has upgraded his pledge from producer level to executive producer. So thank you very much, Tom. And Richard Pardo was an executive producer, but has increased his pledge to a high level. So thank you very much, Richard. I've got a few new producers as well. So Adrian Helyes, thank you very much for your support. Chad Kruger, thank you. David Lewis, thank you very much. Ian Hanna, thank you very much, Ian. Matt Lawrence, thank you very much, Matt. Paul Steinke, I hope that's how you pronounce it. That's how it's written anyway. Thank you very much, Paul. Steve McIlhatton, thank you very much. And Uwe Marks, thank you very much, Uwe. We've also got Martin Taffner, who has upped his pledge and is now a producer level. So thank you very much, Martin. A few extra thank yous for people supporting at lower levels. Kevin Borodovich, yeah, near enough. Thank you very much, Kevin. Ian B, thank you very much. Jody Porteous, thank you very much, Jody. And Julesk, thank you very much. So thank you very much to all of your support. As I say, without you, a lot of the content that I make would not be possible. And I have so many plans for more content that I want to make moving forward, but I need to be careful not to basically spend all my time working on Patreon when I should be doing the other stuff that pays the bills. Right, content that I did in May. So I mentioned earlier on, 2 reviews. Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth, that's done. Go and watch it if you're interested. And Orleans, that was actually done in June, but I'm going to mention it in this video because it should have been done in May. So they were the 2 reviews that I did last month. I also did a Tiny Towns play-along. So AEG got a number of people to basically film themselves playing along the solo game of Tiny Towns, and you can play along with me using the cards that I drew and see if you can beat my score. I think I scored 30, and I know certainly a number of other people have scored more. Some guy called Peter McPherson scored 40. I don't know who he is, designer of the game. But anyway, yeah, if you're interested in that, Tiny Towns play along, get your copy of the game, put on my video, play along and see how well you do. I did podcast 68 with Ben Maddox. We were talking about narrative in games and narrative driven games. I really enjoyed doing that podcast, but I'm a little disappointed with the way that the podcast is going, and I'm not sure if I'm going to carry on the podcast. The number of views that I get, the number of engagements that I get on it, and I know a number of people are still enjoying it, and that's great. But the time versus what I'm getting out of it and the reward when you get 3 comments and a few likes and that's it, and you've spent 2 days planning it, preparing it, recording and editing it, it's not really worth it. And what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to do topics which I thought were interesting topics which would cause a lot of conversation and engagement, and it just isn't happening. So, you know, there's no point carrying on flogging a dead horse. I know some people are enjoying it and that's great, but I am really considering whether to bother carry on doing the podcast because it just isn't providing me much of a return. If you do enjoy the podcast, please let me know. The reason why I'm saying I'm not getting much engagement and people aren't listening to it is because people aren't telling me they're listening to it. I get very few messages of, Paul, we really enjoyed your podcast, thank you very much. If I only get 3 of them, that's only 3 people I think who enjoyed it. So yeah, if you do enjoy content, always leave a comment, always send a message, let people know you're enjoying it. I also did Pod Blast 11. This was supposed to be just a short interview with Emma from Emma Studios about her game Quirk. Completely not the kind of game that you think I would like playing. And to be honest, I haven't played it, and it isn't probably a game that I would enjoy playing. But I found Emma's story fascinating, that Emma's come from a non-gaming background and has now got a booth at UK Games Expo and has got a game in Waterstones. And how she's done it and how she's gone about it, I thought was interesting. So I had her on. It was supposed to be a pod blast, which is like a 10 to 15 minute episode, and we recorded for 45 minutes, so it was as long as a podcast. Anyway, if you're interested in Emma's story, go and check that out, Podblast number 11. I did an unboxing video for Siege Storm, which Awakened Realms asked me to do. And in order for doing it, they've basically given me another copy of the game, which will be the giveaway for next month. Next month. So yeah, if you want to see Siege Storm, I did an unboxing of it. I talked about some of the stuff that's in there. I haven't yet played a full game of it yet. I have learnt the rules, and I do want to play it. But yeah, just did a quick unboxing video of that. And also did a live Q&A with Berkey and Badger and Josiah, as mentioned. They stayed with me for a couple of days before UK Games Expo, and we did a live show, and loads of people joined in. I had a great time. We had loads of questions. We were like 2 hours. It was insane. The live Q&As that I've been doing recently, unlike the podcasts, been really enjoying, and they've been a lot of fun. The quality has been terrible because I record it from home. I have a terrible upload speed, and it's just awful. And I'm making plans. Hopefully, I have basically just signed up today for fibre broadband, which until last week I wasn't able to get. So I'm super excited. But that's for next month. This is supposed to be about May, so didn't happen. Stuff that I am doing in June, and a little bit of a thing. I've already done one of these. So things that I'm going to be doing in June, I'm going to be doing something new. I'm going to be doing a Paul unboxes a game, learns how to play the game from the rulebook, and then plays it. Hey Loki. On video. And I did it with Imperial Settlers Roll and Write. That video is now up there on the channel. If you want to see me literally taking the game out of the box, learning how to play from the rulebook, and then playing it, go and check that video out. I want to do more of them. I might do another one tomorrow. But again, going back to what I was saying earlier on about the Patreon, I will spend 2 days working on that. I mean, that one only took me 1 day, but the next one I'm planning is going to be 2 days. That's 2 days of work, which I'm going to have to give up in order to do more Patreon content. And yeah, anyway, hopefully the Patreon picks up and I'll be able to do more stuff. Reviews that I am doing this month. I am doing Star Wars Outer Rim, and I am doing Space Corp. I've played them both twice already, and I'm going to be playing them at least another... No. Scratching at the sofa. I'm going to be playing them at least twice more before I do a review. Both games have a solo mode. No. Stop it. No, don't bite. In a playful mood. Both games have a solo mode, so I'm going to be doing a solo game of them each. And again, maybe I'll film that, but that's another day's worth to edit. And I'm going to be playing them multiplayer at least once more before I do a review of them. And I've only got a week left. Wish me luck. I will be talking about my Origins coverage, because I went to Origins in June. So there'll be that. Other videos, not sure. And I am doing my final preparations for my own convention, which is in 2 weeks' time. It's called GridCon, brackets Ting, which is This Is Not GridCon. Currently 85 tickets have been sold out of a maximum 150. So it's going to be fairly quiet. If you are interested in coming, please come and support me. Yeah, only 85 tickets sold out of 150. So that means there's still some tickets left. There's 65 tickets left. If you want to come, it's the Friday and the Saturday. It's at the Community Centre in Clumpton. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a venue with accommodation at such short notice, but I wanted to do a games weekend because it's my birthday at the start of July. So effectively, this is my birthday weekend games convention kind of thing. And 85 people is still a lot of people, but I'm saying we've got room for more. We've got Richard Breeze coming. We've got Frank West coming. We've got Ian Schofield coming. We've got a number of other people coming. We've got games that aren't out yet that are available for people to buy. I've got Pipeline. I've got Barrage. I've got a whole host of other games. Paul Harris from Handycon is running the games library. Paul Bryant from Games Law is coming down and offering everybody free delivery on games that they order from him. So yeah, if you're interested in that, go to gridcon.co.uk. Right, the last thing to mention is something a bit special. I've been contacted by a guy called Steve in America, and he's got a Kickstarter campaign going live on the 27th of June this year for these. Now, it's called Outburst, and what it is these are little miniature gaming tables. It comes as a sheet of laser cut wood, and you put them together, and there's 2 designs, and they're really cool. And Steve has asked me to basically give a quick shout out for these to let people know about them. And I like, supporting strange and interesting. I get a lot of people contacting me saying, oh, can I be on your podcast to promote my game? Or can you talk about this? And most of the time I say, well, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that because I don't know who you are. I don't know who Steve was, but when he sent me the idea of this, I was thinking, this is actually quite cool. This is quite a neat little idea. So basically, the whole idea behind this is you get this and it'll be a little novelty product on Kickstarter. I don't think it's going to cost very much. I don't really know. And you make up these tables. And what you do is you have them on your gaming table whilst you're playing your game. And you know those times in a game where you get really, really angry and you want to flip the table? Well, now you can. Because what you do is this is on the table and you just flip it over. So there you go. It's called Outburst. It allows you to relieve all of your anger by flipping over this table instead of flipping over your actual gaming table. It's a little bit of fun. But you can use these as a first player marker. You could put your snacks on it if you wanted to. You know, there's various uses for them. But yeah, a little bit of a fun thing. As I say, I'll put a link to the Kickstarter in the show notes below. It'll be going on Kickstarter later this month. And if it funds, then people will get these little cute little tables. So there we go. That is that. And I think that is everything. So I hope I've not forgotten anything. If I have, I'm sorry. I usually do. But as always, thank you very much to, again, all of my Patreon supporters for making this possible. If you do want to support me, whether to be entered into winning a copy of this or any of the other future contests, or you just want to drop $1 a month into the tip jar, then please consider supporting me over at patreon.com/gaming rules. And as I've mentioned in this video, the more support I get on Patreon, the less commissioned work I'll do and the more fun stuff. Well, it's fun for me, but it's also content for you. So more of these playthrough videos, more of Paul learns a game from the rulebook, and you can see me struggle with the rulebook, which people seem to find very interesting, and more stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, that's it. That's everything for this month, or last month. Until next time, take care, and thanks for watching.
Gaming Rules is proudly sponsored by Game Toppers, upgrading your gaming experience. Visit GameToppersLLC.com.